This is a Jet 24, Fox 66, your Erie.com special report.
Good afternoon, I'm Brian Wilk. We interrupt our programming to bring you a special report, an update on the spread of COVID-19 in Erie County. We go live to the studios of WQLN TV. Here is Erie County Executive Kathy Dahlkemper.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining me here on Friday afternoon. We have 5 new positive cases of COVID-19 in Erie County to report today. 2 of these are in their 20s, 1 in their 30s, 1 in their 60s, and 1 is in their teens. 4 of the new cases are located in Zone 1 and 1 in Zone 5, which will be posted on the cumulative cases map at Erie County, PA. Erie County to report today. 2 of these are in their 20s, 1 in their 30s, 1 in their 60s, and 1 is in their teens. 4 of the new cases are located in Zone 1 and 1 in Zone 5, which will be posted on the cumulative cases map at eriecountypa.gov. We know that 2 of the new cases are connected to each other, and it is believed that some of the others were connected to Mother's Day gatherings. The numbers today to make our total 130 cumulative positives, with 2,955 negatives, and we now have 106 who have completely recovered. Contact tracing, as always, continues at the Erie County Department of Health, as we are so grateful for the work that they do. An update on our surrounding counties shows that Crawford County has 21 cases. McKean County is now reporting 10 cases and 1 death. Venango County has 7 cases. Warren County has 2 cases. Chautauqua County has 44 cases and 4 deaths. And Ashtabula County now has 212 cases with 26 deaths. The state is reporting 60,622 cases and 4,342 deaths. Our environmental team received about 37 new complaints, and they continue to assist our businesses throughout Erie County with compliance during this yellow phase. I mentioned the other day that we have door hangers being distributed to some in our local communities. If you find one of these on your door, you're not being asked to call the health department, but the door hangers are for information only, so that those people know how to contact the Erie County Department of Health if needed. So please only call if you do have a question. And here are some daily reminders, as always. Please remember to wash your hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds, and do that frequently. Sanitize the surfaces that you touch and others touch regularly. Keep your 6-foot distance from others who don't live in your own home, and wear a mask. Remember, my mask protects you, and your mask is a courtesy protecting others. So with those reminders that I always give, the health department continues to closely work with our community partners to assist them in helping distribute those masks to the public in an effort to help slow the spread of COVID-19. And we're grateful for all the help that we've had with getting more masks out to individuals. If you are listening or watching and you need a mask for an individual or family, you can submit a mask request online at bit.ly/mask-erie-request, or you can contact Serve Erie at 814-636-5286. That's 814-636-5286 if you're unable to access via computer. In an effort to continue following physical distancing guidelines, individuals who are needing a mask need to either go online and request that mask or call Serve Erie, and then you will be able to get that mask. They are asking everyone not to just stop by, but to first submit a request either by computer or by phone. If you are a community partner, a business, an organization in need of masks for a group of people, please contact the Erie County Health Department at ecdhinfo@eriecountypa.gov and provide your organization's contact information with the number of masks that you are requesting. And then the health department will get back to you and try to assist with fulfilling your specific request. The City of Erie's Mayor's Office has also informed us that there have been some issues with the disposal of personal protection equipment, particularly that which is disposable. People have been throwing gloves and masks on the ground when they're done with them. Not only is this an issue from the standpoint of just basically litter, it also can contribute to the spread of COVID-19 and also could impact the sewer system and subsequently our greatest asset, which of course is our beautiful bay and Lake Erie. All city trash receptacles are open now, so please be sure that you dispose of your mask, gloves, or any other personal protection equipment properly in a trash bin. And if there's not a trash bin near you, just please take it with you until you find a trash bin to put that item into. And with that, I would like to turn it over to the media for our questions today, and we'll start with Jet TV.
Hi, County Executive.
Yes.
Hi. Do you have any new information on yesterday's death in the county?
I don't have any more information on that individual. Erie Times News?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Kathy. It's David. I want to talk a little bit about needful things. Do you have any more information on the status of that establishment in Quarry?
So the solicitor, the county solicitor, has sent the owner of the restaurant in Quarry a letter explaining the governor's order, explaining all of the guidance that we have received, explaining the issues around the insurance liability concerns, and so that has been sent to the owner.
Okay. And just to clear up, were there two attempts to two efforts to contact the owner by the health department? Was the health department the ones that initially contacted the owner of that establishment?
I know that our compliance individuals, our inspectors, have had conversations with the owner, and I don't remember whether it was one or two times, but they have had conversations with the owner. And this is what we do for any business that we get a complaint about. Somebody usually calls us and says that there's something that they're uncomfortable with or something they believe doesn't follow the guidance given out by the state. And then the first thing we do is we contact that business owner by phone. So we try to reach out by phone and have a conversation. And then if need be, we move on with written correspondence and or a visit to the restaurant.
And then just one real quick follow-up on that. Mm-hmm. Kathy, is this the only business that the county has found out is doing things like this, having in-house eating and not having the staff wear masks? Has there been any other eatery in the county that has done what this establishment has done?
It is the only restaurant that I'm aware of that has had these kind of complaints brought forward. I mean, we've had some other complaints, you know, about different things, but it's the only one I know of that is allowing in-house seating.
All right, thank you.
Sure. Talk Erie.
Yes, good afternoon, Kathy. It's Joel Natale. I just wanted to follow up on yesterday's press conference when the mayor said that he felt that Erie County would be in the yellow phase for months and months. Dr. Rachel Levine at her latest press conference said that they're developing the metrics for green next week. Not necessarily that they're going to announce them next week, mm-hmm. but are you in agreement that this is going to take months and months, maybe through the summer and into the fall?
I'm hopeful that it won't. I'm hopeful that Erie County will continue to do well with our numbers and that we will be one of those communities who can move to green sooner rather than later. I mean, obviously none of us have a crystal ball. We don't know what the numbers are going to look like going forward, but I did see today on one of the communications that came up from the governor, and it with a link to it, which I'm sure everyone can link to, there was actually some pretty interesting data on there. It was a risk-based decision tool by Carnegie Mellon University that I got off of the website just a little bit ago, and I thought it was very interesting. They're looking at what's your commuter danger. They were looking at, from other, not only what's happening in the county, but the counties that people commute to from other counties into your county, and it was looking at age, it was looking at beds in terms of ICU beds, and of course the age was 60 and above, which always gives me a little start because I'm 62. But anyway, those are the kind of data pieces, and of course we know CMU has a lot of great scientists there, and I know that the state is looking to those universities and those researchers to help them. So it might be an interesting tool that some people want to look at, and it was available on one of the communications that came out of the governor's office today, so it's probably available on his website.
To follow up with that, I'm glad you mentioned that. It seems like the only thing that we're even a little bit higher than medium risk is in population density and a reopening contact risk. Does that concern you at all, or is that pretty much we're feeling okay about that?
Well, I think when I was looking at those, I would have to agree. I think we have a lot of tools, a lot of resources and things that we've been able to actually build up in the last couple months. But, as we all have said, reopening is the risk, right? It's what do people do? Do people actually help us out with that reopening risk, and by, wearing their mask and staying socially distant and all of those type of things while still trying to be out and about? Do our businesses follow the guidelines and the guidance and help us along the way also? And so I think that those are the concerns that we all have. And then in terms of the population density, you can even see that when you look at our cumulative case map. Where are most of the cases? They are in our population centers. And so, of course, when more people are in a smaller area, the chance of it spreading back and forth, because mostly it passes from person to person. I mean, there are some risks in terms of surfaces, but the person-to-person transfer of the virus is the greatest way that it spreads. So when you have people living in close proximity, and maybe more people living in a home, for example, or living in a neighborhood where they can't socially distance as easily, then you're going to have the higher numbers. So I would agree with what I saw on that tool.
Thank you.
Sure. Erie News Now.
Good afternoon and happy Friday. Thoughts on our first week here in the yellow phase? We're through week one. What's your assessment of how we're doing so far, and what fears still linger?
Well, I think we're actually doing pretty good. We had those two really large spike days for us, in Erie County last week, a week ago, and I was glad to see that kind of leveled off. And so I think we're actually doing pretty good. I'm hearing really good things from my enforcement team about many of our businesses as they connect with them, and I think people are trying to be creative out there in terms of how they carry on and do things in our community. And then, of course, as much as we don't like the fact that all of these summer events are getting canceled and it's going to be a very different summer for us, I'm really grateful to all the organizations who've decided that this is the safest way that we can move forward with our summer upon us. So I'm feeling pretty optimistic. I'm an optimistic person anyway, but I have to say Erie County continues to make me grateful to be in a county where people, I think, are really trying to do the right thing.
And what concerns here still linger, and what ones, if any, have been eased a little bit after seeing this go for a week?
Well, I think the concern continues to be the people who don't take this seriously. And there are people out there, there's the conspiracy theories and the theories that this is somehow political, which I don't think I understand that theory at all. But it concerns me that some people think this is nothing I have to worry about. We've done well here. We've kept our numbers low. Our death is only at 3. When you compare us to other counties, it's pretty phenomenal that we are the way the numbers we're at. But the detriment to that side is some people think it's not a big deal. But we've only been able to do that because we've done the right things in this community. So my fear is that people will continue to say this is not a big deal and go about their day and not do the right thing. So what makes me optimistic is just the opposite, that we have a lot of people who really understand the seriousness of this and know that the danger is not over, and that summer is going to be upon us. Lots of people out and about. They're taking precautions. People have told me, I won't be doing some of the things that I normally do. I'm changing the way that I'm shopping. I'm changing the way that I interact with my friends. I'm changing, some of my habits from before so that I keep myself and my family protected. And that's good to hear. Jet TV.
Hi, County Executive. I know you kind of just answered this question, but what are your thoughts on today's rally in Harrisburg protesting the governor? And I know a lot of people out there were not wearing any masks or anything.
People have the right to protest. They have the right to assemble. They have, all of those basic rights that we have as American citizens, and we cherish. What I don't understand is why you would do that and not at least take some protection. And remember, your mask doesn't protect you. It protects those other people you're with. So it is really the thing we need to do as our brother's keeper or our sister's keeper, right? We should be caring about the people that we're around, and that's why I put my mask on when I'm around other people, knowing that it's not really protecting me, and I appreciate it when others wear their mask. So that's the thing that disappoints me, is that you can have a rally, you can express your discontent, you can express your opinions, but why not do it in a safe way? Why not do it in a way where you're protecting the other people around you? So that's what concerns me when those people gather like that.
Thank you.
Erie Times News?
Yes, Kathy. Dr. Levine spoke earlier this afternoon about the fact that there are reports now of that childhood inflammatory disease in Pennsylvania. Have you heard anything since yesterday about whether any of these cases are in Erie County?
I have not heard anything about that in Erie County. So we're, again, hopeful that that doesn't happen with the few young people that have contacted the virus here in our community. And, we'll just hope and pray that that doesn't affect our community. But again, in the beginning we didn't think that COVID-19 even affected children at all. And now we're seeing, more children who are contracting the virus, and we are seeing this terrible side effect that some children are enduring. This is the thing with this virus. It's tricky, it's unpredictable, it's new things are coming out about it all the time. I think there's so much we still don't know about this virus, and that's, I guess, the other thing that scares me is what is it about this virus that makes us so unable to kind of get our hands around exactly what it can and cannot do. So, we'll stay tuned on that, but more parents are getting now very concerned about, of course, their children, where in the beginning I don't think we were as worried about children.
And then on a different subject, I just want to go back to the cases for today. You had said that there were others connected to Mother's Day gatherings. I just want to be clear on this. Not the two that are connected to each other, but you said that some of the other 3 cases today appear to be from Mother's Day gatherings?
That's what the staff said. They appeared. I mean, they're still doing a lot of that contact tracing, and some of them we haven't been able to quite figure out how they're connected, But it seems that there were some of them that might have been connected with gatherings around that Mother's Day time. Anytime we get together, we know, even if you're with your own family, if you don't live together, then the chances that you could contract COVID-19 is going to be greater, because we still have so many people who have no symptoms, and you don't know, is that your niece, your nephew, your brother, your sister? We don't know who those people are, and that's, again, the tricky thing about this virus, is that many people are the carriers. Unfortunately, they don't want to be the carriers, and they don't even know it. So yeah, we don't really know, but the contact tracing continues on, and they said it appears that there may be some connection with some Mother's Day gatherings also.
Thanks.
Talk Erie.
Yes, Kathy, 24 miles from where you're standing at WQLN right now, Ohio has opened their hair salons, barbershops, day spas, nail salons, tanning facilities. They have outdoor dining this week, dine-in service next week. Is with Ohio opening, does that put Erie County businesses at a strategic disadvantage? And what kinds of things is the county contemplating to lobby for our own businesses in the yellow phase here?
So one of the things, as I was talking about that tool by Carnegie Mellon, the only comparisons they did in terms of the commuters were with the counties in Pennsylvania. And of course, we know we have lots of commuters from Ashtabula County and Chautauqua County, particularly who come in and out of Erie. So now with Ohio really opening up much, much greater, we think that we will have people from Erie County who decide, I really want to get my hair cut, or I want to get my nails done, or I want to, sit outside at one of the restaurants, and I'll go into Ohio to do that. It's a risk. It's a risk for all of us. And again, I'm not the scientist, and I'm looking to the state and the Department of Health to give us the guidance for when we're ready to go there. And we will await our decision for our state. But I can't stop people from doing what they want to do, and if they want to go to Ohio, I can't stop them. I don't recommend it at all, but that's what it is when you live close to two other boundaries that were made by someone way long time ago, and as we know, we're really all one big country, right? And just as we're one big state. And we're one big region up here of really 5 counties, and people move a lot between them.
Thank you.
Erie News Now.
Hi, what is your message to those business owners who can't open until the green phase, both now as they watch other local businesses be able to open back up and they keep waiting, and then of course, a handful of days from now they'll watch Ohio businesses like theirs open up. Just what is your message to them as they keep playing this waiting game, wondering how long their businesses can survive?
I've talked to some of these owners, and it's really, really difficult, and many of them are very concerned whether their business will survive through this, and I truly feel for them. We've tried to put together resources, certainly check our business page, but I would also recommend that they look at the Chamber's business page and all the resources that are out there for businesses, to look at the Redevelopment Authority, the County Redevelopment Authority, and our other economic development partners in our community. There's some money available, but there's certainly not enough. And I know that. And I know some businesses told me they haven't qualified for various reasons for some of these programs that have been out there. And so I'm always looking, are there new ways that we can help these businesses survive? But I also know that there are some restaurants I've talked to in our community who are actually doing extremely well with their takeout business and their drive-up business. In fact, some of them are doing almost as good as they always have. And so those are the they got to be creative. But some businesses, I know you can't be creative if you're a hair salon or you're a barbershop and you can't open. We did say they can open to sell product, but that's not the main part of their business, selling product. So if you are a hairdresser and you have shampoos and things like that you sell, you can sell those, but that probably isn't going to give you enough to open the doors for even hours. It's just not a big part of your business. And so I understand how difficult that is, and I'm hoping that if we keep our numbers low, we'll be talking to the state, like, what does this mean? How do we get to green? Look at how well we're doing. And we think Northwest Pennsylvania should move to green, and we'll continue to talk about that. So we're just 1 week in here. A week from now we'll be 2 weeks in. I think that'll start to give us a better idea of where we're going with the yellow phase, and then I think we can really start to lobby and advocate for our region to move to a green phase where many more of those businesses could open.
Can I just follow up on that very briefly? So we're looking at maybe the 2 to 3 week in, depending on how the numbers look. But if we go, say, 3 weeks in yellow with numbers about like what we've seen, then you'd start maybe knocking on some doors in Harrisburg, figuratively, and saying, hey, what can we do here?
I think we would, because if we're seeing that our community really has stepped up to the plate and done the right things, and the businesses are really working their best to try to stop the spread, and we think it could be done safely in certain ways, I would advocate for some of these businesses to, again, be allowed to open. And, I think part of the problem is it's hard to make decisions from a state level for everyone and all businesses. And we even know there's differences with some of the businesses we have here versus maybe what that business looks like down in Harrisburg. Let's just take Harrisburg as an example. And so there is some gray areas that have troubled me as we talk to the state and try to get some guidance on these things And so I'm always looking to see how we can help our businesses if there is a possibility for them to find a creative and very, very safe way to get back up and going. Jet TV, do you have any last questions?
I do. Beaver County is one of the counties that's going to be going into the yellow phase, and I know they have over 500 cases and 80 deaths. Does it concern you that maybe with such high numbers there, people will be coming into Erie County and possibly infecting people here?
So one of the things that happen in Beaver County is the nursing homes. There's one particular nursing home where things got way out of control in terms of the spread of COVID-19, and they've had many deaths and many cases. And we here have been so fortunate that our nursing home cases are extremely low. And so as you look at that, at those numbers, that's really one of the big, I think that was one of the big arguments from Beaver County to the state, is we should be able to open because many of our cases are contained in nursing homes. And I'm not saying that's good, and obviously it's a very vulnerable population, but the numbers weren't out in the community as much in terms of the community spread. So that's, I think the issue there is of less of a concern in terms of the general population. And so I would agree that they should be in that next phase of going to yellow. Yesterday I talked to a commissioner down in Bucks County, and they're down near the Philadelphia area, but he was telling me, and I hadn't really looked at their numbers very closely, but they have, I think, yesterday I think they had about 370 deaths. And 300 of those, approximately, were all in nursing homes. So when you start to look at those nursing home numbers in some of these counties, it really changes the view of that county. That's a county of about 630,000, I think. Don't hold me to these numbers, but something like that. Anyway, so I think that's why you have to look at all the different factors from a county, and I hope the state is doing that, and I think that they are, as they look at moving counties to yellow and then hopefully eventually to green.
Thank you.
Erie Times News, do you have any last questions?
Yes, Kathy. Going back to, if numbers continue to stay low for another week or two, that you're open to lobbying for the county to go green. Based on your dealings with folks from the state health department and from the governor's office, how receptive do you think they'll be to that if our numbers continue to be single digits, low single digits on some days? Do you think they'll be very receptive to having us go green sooner rather than later?
I think the governor and the Department of Health, Secretary Levine's number one goal is how do we save lives and how do we keep people safe, right? And that's what we're all looking at, is how do we save lives in our community. But they also have a very, very strong goal, like how do we get our economy back on track, get people back to work, help people to get the funds they need to pay their bills, etc. And so how do you balance those two? And that's always the tricky thing. And so that's what they're working on, and I think if we can prove that we can do this in Erie County, then I think we have a strong case to make. And hopefully, the state will at least hear us out, and they've been receptive to phone calls and conversations, and we have had conversations, within the Northwest with the state, and we are being looked at as sort of a region, and I think that's been a good thing too, because we have a lot of connection with the counties that I mentioned when I mentioned the numbers, Crawford, Warren, McKean, Venango, etc. So I think the state will be receptive at least to listening to us. I can't say that it will make their decision. Their decision is going to be based on data, and so they need the data to support what we're asking, and I won't ask until I feel we have the data to support it also.
And then going back to the quarry establishment, I just want to be clear again on what was said yesterday. You had mentioned a couple times following the new State Department of Agriculture guidelines on the enforcement process or the penalty process. Is it going to be going forward? The county is going to be the ones dealing with this business, but it's going to follow the Department of Agriculture guidelines. The Department of Agriculture themselves, their personnel, are not going to be involved in the enforcement on this establishment?
I don't believe that's been determined yet, and we're waiting to see the response from the business owner, and then we'll move forward from there depending on what happens. Sure. Talk Erie, do you have any final questions?
Just a quick follow-up. can you give us a status update on number of furloughs from the county and also how the hiring is going for some of the new jobs that you had announced?
So our furloughs haven't changed. I think we're at 105, I believe, real close to that number if it's not exactly on the dot. Again, vast majority of those furloughed are our library employees, and so they are still in that furloughed status. And the second part of your question was, I'm sorry. What?
The hirings for the for some of the jobs at the health department. Yeah.
So the staff at the health department has been working to have interviews with those individuals, to go through the multiple applications they got, and we're really grateful for all those people who came forward and said they might want to be part of our team and help us with this contact tracing. And we're looking at bringing them on as a per diem, and so we could scale up or scale back depending on our numbers. And so if our numbers go up, then we would have these people ready to go. If our numbers stayed really low, we wouldn't really need them, but we would basically bring them on as per diems until the end of the year, maybe longer depending on, again, how things go. So those conversations are happening and those interviews are happening, and we really hope to get those people trained up. The state has put together some good training for new contact tracers, and so we're grateful for that too. That's going to really help. And there's a lot to this, as you know, as Valerie explained, and so people have to feel very comfortable in what they're doing, and we need them to be very comfortable and be experts at investigation. So look forward to that and getting them on board. And Erie News.
Thanks so much.
Sure, Erie News Now. Do you have any final questions?
I do. One final one for you here. Current weather notwithstanding, as we head into the weekend where we actually might have some decent weather, fingers crossed anyway, what are your fears and what's your message to the people of Erie County?
My message to the people of Erie County, it's going to be a beautiful Saturday. Please enjoy it. Go enjoy our beautiful community, but do it very safely. Do it, wearing a mask, doing it by keeping socially distant from others. But do get out and enjoy yourselves. We all need some sunshine. We all need that warmth. We all need a little break from this rainy, cool spring that we have. And then my fear would just be that people would gather in too many numbers and too closely, and that the disease would spread. But again, I'm looking as much forward as anyone else is to summer and warmer weather and just getting out and gardening and doing the things that we love to do. So I hope that people can find time and a way to really enjoy themselves this weekend. I think we all need a little break from COVID-19 just in our minds, and so that sunshine and warmth hopefully will help us do that. All right, well, thank you all for your great questions. Thank you for the week and for being with me. And again, I want to thank the press for helping us always to get out this message. We can't do it without you, and so I thank you for joining me here every day. And with that being said, just a reminder that we are not going to be having a press briefing either Saturday or Sunday, and we will be back here on Monday together. And in the meantime, I hope that you all stay fairly close to home. Please stay safe over the weekend, and please stay calm.
And you've been watching today's update on COVID-19 from County Executive Kathy Dahlkemper. In case you just joined us, here are some highlights of the update. We have 5 new COVID-19 cases in Erie County. Their ages are all over. 2 people in their 20s, 1 person in their 30s, 1 person in their 60s, and 1 of them is a teenager. 4 of them live in Zone 1, which is the downtown city area, and 1 person lives in Zone 5. And we also heard the county executive mention that 2 of these cases are connected to each other. So as of this afternoon, here's the latest on the confirmed cases of coronavirus near us. There are a total of 130 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Erie County. That's 5 new cases reported today and 3 deaths. Crawford reports 21 cases. Warren County has 2 cases. There are 44 confirmed cases and 4 deaths reported in Chautauqua County, New York, and 212 confirmed cases in Ashtabula County, Ohio, with 26 deaths. Now, across Pennsylvania, there are over 60,000 positive cases of COVID-19. Over 4,300 people have died, and nearly 260,000 people have tested negative. So the best advice to stay safe is stay calm, stay home, and wash your hands often. Plus, practice social distancing of at least 6 feet. And Jet 24 carries a live digital exclusive coronavirus newscast daily at 11:30 a.m., 3 p.m., and 9 p.m. on our website, YourErie.com, and we'll have a complete wrap-up tonight on Jet 24 beginning at 5, and we are live every night at 7 p.m. on Facebook. Thank you for joining us. I'm Brian Wilk. Good afternoon.
This has been a Jet 24 Fox 66 special report. For ongoing developments, log on to YourErie.com. We now return you to your regularly scheduled program.